They told you to be kind, as if kindness were always a strength. But no one warned you that kindness can become a poison, a slow form of self-destruction. You sense it, don't you? That uneasy feeling that your endless niceness is costing you something precious.
Picture your romantic life. You give everything to your partner without asking for much in return. You tolerate disrespect or neglect, telling yourself you're being understanding. You swallow your hurt to keep the peace, because you believe love means always being accommodating. Now think about your family. You never want to burden them with your problems, so you hide your pain behind a smile. You smooth over conflicts, play the peacemaker, always being the good one. Even when your family's words or actions cut deep, you bite your tongue. Causing a scene feels unthinkable. At work, you're the person everyone turns to when they need help. Your boss piles extra tasks on you, and you never say no. You end up working late, covering for colleagues, doing more than your share. You're exhausted and overwhelmed, but you fear that setting boundaries would make you look selfish or incapable. Even among friends, you can't stop being the agreeable one. You laugh at jokes that hurt you. You pretend to enjoy things that bore or upset you. You offer favors you don't have the energy for, just to avoid conflict or awkwardness. Whatever others want, you go along with it. In every area of your life, you wear the label of the nice one. People praise your selflessness. They know you'll sacrifice your own needs to make others happy. But behind your polite smile, how do you really feel? Drained, unappreciated, maybe even invisible. Society taught you that kindness is the key to being loved. Be generous, be forgiving, never rock the boat, and you'll be admired. But reality hasn't fulfilled that promise. Instead of feeling loved and secure, you often feel alone, used, and quietly resentful. Friedrich Nietzsche would not be surprised by this painful paradox. Over a century ago, he wrote about a moral code that praises meekness and kindness, not because they are inherently noble, but because they were the only virtues the powerless could afford. He called it slave morality, and you might be living it without knowing. Slave morality, in Nietzsche's view, is the morality of the weak. Unable to take power for themselves, the weak find safety in calling their weakness good. They say that being passive, humble, and overly kind is moral, while power and self-assertion are evil. It's a clever reversal. If you can't win by force, you redefine winning as being the most patient, the most forgiving sufferer. Does this sound familiar? When you hold back your true feelings and call it being the bigger person, you might be doing exactly what Nietzsche described. You tell yourself you're good because you endure, because you don't fight back. But perhaps it's not pure virtue at all. Perhaps it's fear and helplessness wearing the mask of virtue. Nietzsche had a word for the secret hatred that builds inside people who won't acknowledge their anger. Resentment. It's a French word for a deep, smoldering resentment. Resentment grows in those who are outwardly kind and compliant, but inwardly full of suppressed rage. Think about every time you said, "It's fine," when it wasn't fine at all. Where did those unspoken feelings go? They didn't disappear. They sank into your heart, bitter and toxic. Each disappointment, each injustice you smile away, becomes a drop of poison in your soul. That poison is resentment. Maybe you won't admit it openly, but you felt it. The friend you helped move apartments who never thanked you. You quietly fumed but said nothing. The partner who belittled you. You nodded and later cried alone. Perhaps you even fantasize about escaping all these people, or finally telling them the truth just to release the pressure building inside. This is how excessive kindness curdles into bitterness. On the surface, you're agreeable, the model of generosity. Underneath, you're simmering with frustration. You live as two persons, a gentle mask for the world, and a wounded soul in private. The world applauds your goodness while you secretly choke on resentment. Nietzsche warned that this kind of morality breeds dishonesty, especially self-deception. People who suffer this way often convince themselves that their very suffering makes them better than those who don't suffer. Do you tell yourself that because you put up with others' harm, you are morally superior to them? That mindset is a subtle poison too, a way of sanctifying your own pain. Be honest. Do you ever feel a quiet pride in being the nice one who puts up with anything? Part of you might think, I'm not like those selfish people. I'm better because I sacrifice. It's a comforting story, but it's a lie. You're not better. You're just afraid to do what they do, to stand up for yourself. Modern psychology has names for this pattern. You've heard them: people-pleasing, codependency, self-sacrifice. Therapists see it all the time. Kind souls who have been conditioned to give until there's nothing left. And they see the toll it takes. The anxiety, the depression, the utter exhaustion that comes from betraying yourself daily. Why do we do this to ourselves? Often, it's out of fear. Fear of rejection. You worry if you don't keep everyone happy, you'll be abandoned. Fear of conflict. You imagine that saying no or disagreeing will make others hate you. Fear of guilt. The moment you assert a need, you feel like you've done something terrible. Many of us learned these fears in childhood. Maybe you grew up believing love had to be earned by being good and quiet. If so, standing up for yourself now feels wrong, almost sinful. You may still believe that putting others first makes you a good person, but constantly sacrificing yourself is not kindness. It's self-neglect. And what has this noble self-neglect earned you? A life of constant anxiety. You're always on guard, monitoring others' moods, trying desperately to prevent anyone from being upset. You live in a state of vigilance, as if any moment someone's disapproval could break you. It's an exhausting way to live, and it's tearing you apart. Eventually, you hit a wall. Burnout sets in. Your mind and body revolt against the endless strain. You wake up one day, bone-tired and hollow, realizing that in all your efforts to make others happy, you've lost the ability to feel your own joy. Sometimes this life of giving and giving leads to depression. How could it not, when you've given away every piece of yourself, all because you never established boundaries? A boundary is the line where you say, "This is me, and beyond this, you cannot pass." It's where you protect your own needs and well-being, but you've been living without those lines. Without boundaries, anyone can claim your time, your energy, your life, and they have. Imagine your life is a house with no walls and no locks. Anyone who wants can walk right in. They rearrange your furniture, track mud on your floors, take what they like from your pantry. Maybe they don't mean harm, but there's nothing to stop them. And so your home, your inner life, is in disarray, not truly your own. No one can live like that forever. Sooner or later, something has to give. The gentle person everyone thinks you are might suddenly erupt. Years of swallowed pain can turn into an explosive outburst at a minor provocation, or collapse into a breakdown of tears and despair. Either way, the real you, the hurt you, comes pouring out. But maybe the most insidious danger is the one that's hardest to notice: the slow erasure of yourself. Bit by bit, you vanish. Each time you silence your needs, each time you say, "I'm okay," when you're not, you fade a little more. You become a stranger to your own desires, a ghost in your own life. This cannot continue. And deep down, you know it. A part of you is already screaming in quiet rebellion. Nietzsche might call that your will to power, the natural drive within you to assert, to live, to claim your own life. That will has been suppressed, but it's still there, waiting for you to heed it. So, what's the alternative? To stop being kind altogether? To harden your heart and become selfish? No. The answer is not to kill your kindness, but to revive your courage. It's to find a balance between compassion for others and honesty with yourself. To be kind, but first, to be just as kind to yourself. Think of kindness as a flower and your personal power as the sun. Without sunlight, a flower wilts no matter how beautiful it is. In the same way, kindness without strength to support it will wither and lead to your ruin. But when kindness grows in the light of strength and self-respect, it becomes a gift that nourishes everyone, including you. Real kindness isn't about always saying yes. Sometimes it's about having the courage to say no. No to the friend who keeps taking and never giving. No to the boss who thinks you have no life outside work. No to the family member who crosses lines and assumes you'll just tolerate it. True kindness doesn't lie in allowing bad behavior. It lies in preventing worse outcomes by standing up when needed. Consider what true friendship means. A true friend isn't someone who always agrees with you or flatters you. A true friend sometimes tells you the hard truth for your own good. And a true friend respects your boundaries. By trying to be nice and agreeable all the time, you haven't been a better friend. You've just been a silent one, offering nothing of your real self. This is where Nietzsche's idea of master morality can inspire you. A master, in Nietzsche's sense, is someone who defines their own values instead of letting others' expectations define them. They have the strength to choose when to be kind and when to be firm. They don't live or die by anyone's approval. They respect others, but they don't kneel to anyone. Imagine living by your own light like that. You set the terms of your life. You decide what is good for you, guided by your conscience and your wisdom, not by guilt or fear. You treat people well because it's your principle, not because you're too afraid to do otherwise. That is freedom. That is strength. Remember Nietzsche's words. The noble soul has reverence for itself. Do you have reverence for yourself? Have you ever even considered that you deserve the same respect and compassion you so freely give to others? Reverence for yourself means you do not allow yourself to be mistreated. Not by others, and not by your own inner critic. It means you stand guard over your own worth. The first time you set a boundary or speak your mind, it will feel strange, even wrong. Your heart will race, your hands might tremble. You'll feel like that frightened child again, bracing for punishment just because you chose yourself over someone else's demand. Guilt will try to pull you back into old patterns. Expect that, and stand firm anyway. Be prepared. Not everyone will applaud the new you. Those who benefited from your silence may resist your change. A friend might say, "You've changed," with disapproval. A family member might accuse you of being selfish or ungrateful. People often resent it when the easy, compliant person stops complying. It's okay. Let them be uncomfortable with your growth. You may lose some relationships, at least the way they were. But what is lost in comfort will be gained in integrity. Better to be alone than to be with people who only loved your lack of boundaries. And you won't be alone forever. When you respect yourself, you start to attract others who will respect you too. Or you inspire those already in your life to meet the real you. As you start asserting yourself, you'll discover something freeing. The world doesn't end when you say no. In fact, the world becomes more honest. Your relationships become more real. You feel solid ground under your feet for the first time. You feel alive, present in your own life like never before. Picture this. The next time your boss tries to dump extra work on you at the last minute, you calmly say, "I have too much on my plate. I can't take that on." Your heart is pounding, but you stand your ground. Maybe your boss is surprised, even annoyed. But they survive, and so do you. The sky doesn't fall. You drive home on time, the sunset in your eyes, and feel a swell of pride because you did something you've never done before. You valued yourself, or imagine finally telling a loved one the truth you've held back. You gently but firmly say how you feel, that you've been hurt, that you have needs too. Perhaps your partner or friend listens and apologizes, and your relationship grows stronger, built now on honesty. Or perhaps they don't take it well. Maybe they leave. If so, they were only in love with your silence, not with the real you. Either way, you are free, no longer betraying yourself to keep someone else comfortable. With each act of self-assertion, you reclaim a piece of your soul. The anxiety in your chest slowly gives way to a calm determination. This is you tapping into what Nietzsche called the will to power, directed not at dominating others, but at mastering yourself. It's not about ego or cruelty. It's about the power to shape your own life. This quiet strength builds each time you honor your own needs. And here is the beautiful irony. When you have this strength, kindness becomes easier, not harder. It's no longer draining, because you give from your heart, not from fear. You can be generous without hurting yourself. Your kindness is a choice, a free gift, not a desperate bargain for approval. It feels clean, it feels warm, and it actually feels good. Remember this core truth. Kindness without self-respect is self-destruction, and strength without compassion is tyranny. One without the other is incomplete. So be strong enough to stand up for yourself and compassionate enough to care for others. Be as kind as your strength allows and as strong as your kindness demands. Now you see clearly that what you called kindness before was often just fear. Fear of being alone, fear of conflict, fear of not being good enough. That false kindness asked you to diminish yourself. True kindness toward yourself and others asks you to rise up. The story doesn't have to end with you as a martyr. You have the pen in your hand, and you can write a new chapter where you respect yourself and still have a good heart. This is your wake-up call. You stand at a crossroads. One path is the same old road of pleasing others, tiptoeing around their expectations, slowly suffocating your spirit. The other path is harder, but brimming with life. It's the road where you finally show yourself the love and respect you deserve. Every great story has a turning point. This can be yours. So, what will you do? You can pretend you never heard this. Keep living as you have, slowly draining yourself to keep others happy. Or you can choose the harder road, to face the fear, break the pattern, and reclaim your power. It won't be easy, but it will be real. The choice is yours, right now. Ask yourself honestly, who do you want to be from this day forward? The person who lives in fear, camouflaging it as kindness? Or the person who stands tall, kind but strong, gentle but unafraid? This question will shape the rest of your life. Only you can answer it. If you've made it this far and you're ready to stop letting fear disguise itself as kindness, tell me. Leave a comment with the phrase, "strength in kindness," to show that you understand what must be done. Let the world see that you are done being a prisoner of your own niceness And if these words struck a chord in you, if you felt a spark of recognition or a surge of resolve, then join us. Subscribe to the channel and be part of this journey. This is not the end. It's the beginning of a stronger, more awake life. We're walking this path together, turning pain into power and fear into freedom. Until next time, stay strong, stay true to yourself, and remember, the world needs your light, but it needs the light that shines from a soul that is lit from within. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Instead, ignite your own flame so brightly that it guides others without consuming you. We'll see you in the next video. Or perhaps in that quiet moment when you decide to finally put yourself first.